New angle. Now you aren't looking up my nose the whole time. Anyways, I feel like I've been just dangling keys in front of your face for a couple weeks now. And I have just kind of a setup that may be a little different to the average person. If you've like watched a Linux cast or something, you definitely know that this is DWM or something, right? But I'm just gonna, for the curious people out there, I'm gonna go through specific stuff about my setup, the how and why. So I mean, right off the bat, if you're gonna ask why my computer looks like that, it's because of DWM, right? It's something called suckless DWM. That is what I use. So it's what's called the tiling window manager, right? You guys know that. Because basically on a normal computer, right, you'll have just stuff randomly. Why am I getting cut off there? Uh-oh. The point is you'll have stuff randomly all over the place like this, right? And it's messy. Of course, I wouldn't know anything about being messy, right? But point is, normal computers, they're just messy. It's messy and weird. Now this DWM thing, links in the description. It has downsides. You got to build it from source, although it builds instantly, even on an old ThinkPad from 2008. So got you covered there. It builds easily, but like if you want to customize it, you have to change the source code. Now I'm not a programmer, but like I changed the color of the selected window, right? Like if I press Command Enter, or I guess Windows key Enter, Mod key, whatever you want to call it, that's what opens the terminal. And as you can see, it just automatically sorts everything that I got going on, right? So then I can do a Command Y to change the layout. This is the Fibonacci spiral mode. I can do Command U to just have two windows. Then I can do Command H, change the size. Command L, change the size the other way, right? Then Command Q, sort of like a Mac, right? To quit the window, not the program itself, but the window. Goodness gracious, what else? Command 1, 2, 3, etc. to move through different workspaces. I have this camera view thing stickied, quote unquote. So that basically means it follows me around onto whatever workspace I use. But then if I unsticky it, yep, no, it's just back on workspace 1. Or Suckless, the devs call it tags, T-A-G. I don't know why. I don't know why you wouldn't call them workspace. Workspace makes sense to me. I also use Ableton. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this. I wouldn't necessarily recommend proprietary music software in general. I mostly use it because I'm stuck in my ways. But I actually have it set up to just, if I just type Ableton in here, gotta wait a bit, right? But it does launch Ableton Live 9, the version from 2015, I think it was. Now, the weird thing about this is, and this is something maybe some more knowledgeable people could actually help me with. So I'm very curious to hear about that. Email me, life@harshnoiseresearch.com. It's in the description. Or comment on the video. I might see it either way. Just to let you know. I check my email more often, though. I am on CatchyOS, which, if you don't know, it's just a good OS for it's a good distro for performance. It's basically Arch Linux with like a few quality of life features and without the bragging rights. What's not to like about that? But if I go into my, oh no, I gotta type the VI first. If I go into my bash RC, right, there's Cherno again. I have this alias set here. If you don't know aliases, it just means it's like a nickname for, you just type this and you get this, right? So I have it set to /ableton.sh. So that's a script that I'll show you. /ableton.sh. Now I don't necessarily understand why this works through and through. and I might not even need the CD part. I think there's probably, I'm not going to test it here, but I could probably do, instead of doing CD 3 times, I could probably just do wine and then the directory and the name of the exe, right? There's probably a way to do that. Not sure, but so this is a little janky, but it does work technically. And I did have this exact syntax in the bash RC itself set to the alias, but it didn't work, and I don't understand why. Again, like, I don't know if this type of syntax is considered pure shell, if it's considered a bash thing. I have a vague understanding of, like, what a shell is and things like that, but not a programmer. Not a programmer by trade, right? Anyway, so that's that. What else? What else? This is Camerama, which I'd like something with a more minimalistic look, and I'm not sure. I'm going to try stuff out. Again, like, if people can recommend me software to use instead of this that looks more minimal or something, that's good. But for just aesthetic reasons, I have the saturation turned way up, right? Most of the time. And so I have actually a PlayStation Eye camera. And that's what I'm using because I like the grain. You know, I want to have. Well, I don't really have a better camera, and it's not that I couldn't get one, but I want a hook. I want something. You want to have a look to my thing. You know, harshnoiseresearch.com. Yeah, you can turn up the contrast. See, I almost went with this type of look. I just think it's too much. It's just it makes it look like a deep fried meat. It's just too much. I don't think, you know, it's like, I don't need people to take me too seriously. I need something I can take seriously. So that's just, what was that at before? Okay, that looks normal enough, right? You can turn the brightness up. So Camerama, it's pretty good. I could click this and it's, again, not ideal. But yeah, I think that is a pretty good picture of my setup and like why I do things the way I do. I'm using Linux, obviously, in case you're somehow this far in and you don't know what CatchyOS is or what a distro is. I'm using Linux. I'm on a specific kind of Linux. That's what this is. So I guess another thing. Go back into my terminal here. We could look. Just go into our no, not Vi. Look into our DWM, right? Then I do ls, and it shows everything, right? So again, for noobs, like all you have to do is just vim into config.h, right? Go right in there, and then this is where you can change everything, right? So like I have this commented out, so that this line of code is not doing anything because it has those. Is this C? Like, this is the thing. Nobody ever told me with programming that you're going to end up writing a bunch of stuff in and not knowing what language it's in because you're just copying the style of syntax that's already there. But yeah, so that's 90% sure it's C. Correct me if I'm wrong. So like if I uncomment this and then comment this one out, then that'll be white. Well, yeah, I'd have to delete the part that says white, I guess, or comment that part out. White static. Actually, I don't even remember what it is because I remember what I changed was, see how that frame appears between or around like the window I have selected. That's what I changed. I made it white. It was red before. So yeah, who knows? But yeah, Command ZQ. People who know how to the real ones, the real, you know, non-posers, they exit Vim by that way, right? No, it is a quicker way to do it. Like if you want to not save, do capital ZQ or do capital ZZ to exit and save in Vim, right? If you didn't know, some people know, some people don't. But yeah, and so then let's pretend I change something. Then you do sudo make install, right? Type my password in here. and then it presumably would be fine. Right? So, I mean, that's kind of the interesting thing about DWM is that basically everybody who uses it is running their own fork of it. So that's partly what I like about it. I like that it's not beginner friendly, really, but it reduces the visual clutter, and when you know what you're doing and you need things to go fast, they can go fast, you know? And just you don't have stuff randomly like this all the time. Like, what's the point of that? And I've forgotten what the keyboard shortcut is to change it. So it's like, yeah, double-edged sword, right? The biggest double-edged sword of all time. But again, doesn't matter that much. Not everyone's gonna like it, but if you just you're a control freak about your computer, you want everything to be exactly where it's supposed to be, you're never gonna be happy. But this will make you closer to being happy. Right, so I think that's pretty much it. What else have I shown off? I've shown off the VSTs. I think that's self-explanatory. I mean, if people want me to go in about the VSTs I use and stuff, I absolutely will. I'll make another video or something. But yeah, that's basically it.